Good morning, and thank you for inviting me. And it is an honor and a privilege to be here to speak to you and to meet all of you. As far as who I am, yes, I'll review that. I have always been gifted. It's been difficult. My grandmother was a famous psychic and had supernatural abilities in Hungary. And my mother and aunt would tell me that people would come from all over the country to see her, and she would be dressed differently. That's all they knew. But my mother inherited the gift, and then I did. As I grew older, I would dream in foreign languages, and they were complete sentences. I'd look it up, and I never knew the language. And I would have visions. But even at the young age, about approximately 5 or 6, I would hear people. And this is my first introduction to teaching you, but I hopefully will teach you quite a few things today. When I hear what I call my people or the other side, the analogy I will give to all of you is if you're walking and you're by yourself, and you're admiring something of beauty, let's say a bird, a tree, you're driving the car, and you look in the sky, and you hear this thought, isn't it beautiful today? Isn't that a beautiful bird? That's how they speak to you. So my first teaching will be, I want you to try and pay attention to hear those that are trying to reach you. And it may not be what you would deem conventional, but still in all, they're trying to reach you. So as I grew up, I sought out different mentors, and they took me in, and I have had quite a few. I got involved with an Edgar Cayce study group, and that basically encouraged me to pursue the gift that I was given. And during this study group, we went to different various people to be educated on certain aspects as they were connected with ARE in Virginia Beach. My most important mentor, who I miss all the time, her name was Robbin Snyder. She was a nurse and a spiritualist and was gifted, and at the age of 18 was indeed a secretary to the Edgar Cayce. And she would tell a funny story. She was not one of the head secretaries, but she would be in the room when he would go into his trances and look up all of the Akashic records, which are all of our lifetimes. And a lot of people came to him because they had maladies that couldn't be explained. Like someone who has headaches, who goes to a physician and they can't find anything wrong. So therefore, it would be something that you would bringing in from another lifetime. Well, she took me under her wing. And one of the most important things that she ever taught me, and I'm guilty of not remembering it, as my friends know, is you are in the place exactly where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there. Financially, spiritually, physically, emotionally, it doesn't matter. So at that exact moment, that's where you're supposed to be. And to know that you will never live that moment again. So what I'm saying right now will never be the same. It could be repeated, but never the same at this moment, on this date, at this time. One of the other things I want to raise, because as I said, it's sort of hard to put all my thoughts and my experiences concisely in an organized fashion, is I'm going to ask every single one of you, can you guarantee me that when you go to bed at night, you're going to wake up the next morning? I'm going to repeat that. I want you to hear that. Can you guarantee me that when you go unconscious and go to sleep, will you wake up that next morning and have another day? Why am I emphatic about that point? Because today, now, the people in the room, your friends, your work, everything today means something. I was invited years ago before COVID to the United Nations. My friend works for one of the Middle Eastern countries, and I was honored to be invited to an international luncheon. And it was a very interesting event because two dignitaries got into a fight of how they saw the world was going to proceed. And I sat there and people were just stunned and embarrassed. And great lunch. Very nice. So of course, because I call them my people, one of them was pushing me and said, you have to say something. There were like CBS and ABC and CNN and all these news people there. And I just sort of, little knees pushing my way through. And I went up to the moderator and I said, excuse me, I have to go, but thank you for your wonderful talk. And I posed him that question that I just posed to you. And he just looked at me. And unbeknown to me, there was a dignitary who also happened to be a minister from Nigeria. And he said, listen to what she's saying. And my response to the moderator was, why I'm saying it to you is, you told all of us that in this exact moment in time, this is going to happen. How do you know that? How do you know you're going to get up the next morning and everything is going to be exactly the way you want it to be? Well, you don't know that. Even people who are gifted and psychic, they don't know because they're only shown what they're supposed to see. And there are things that I'm not shown. So that's why each moment is so important. Another point I'd like to make, and thank you for bringing this up, Reverend. In the circle of miracles here, you want to share love every single day. And I mean every day. I don't care where I am. If I'm at the grocery store, the first thing I say to a person is, thank you for working. I really appreciate it. Isn't that what we all want to know? That we were valued? That our life mattered in that moment, on that day? So that's why I titled my lecture is, what do you think your life on earth is really about? You need to delve into yourself and see how you can make the world a better place. I truly believe that you're not born so you can have the greatest amount of money or go to Disney World or have a fancy car, because in the end, it can be taken away like this. The last position I had as an RN, which was recently, I did hospice nursing. And during that time, people are under such great duress. And also at that time, they're reviewing their whole life. And you know what they say? And this has happened, especially when I worked intensive care. When people are ready to pass, they do, I would have, I should have, and I could have. Well, it's too late. I'm not saying that you should think of life as each day being doom and gloom. But when you get up and you thank Spirit and God, wow, I have a new day. And when you go to bed, you say, wow, I lived that day. Thank you for that day. I want you to focus on those things that in the Old Testament, God says that you should do at least 2 good things every day. Mike back there is smiling. I'm going to ask you why you're smiling then later.
Only 2.
Minimum, Mike. But just, I guess, I forget the phenomenon, the butterfly effect, which I see. How don't you know when you thank someone for helping you, just even to find coffee on the shelf, and I may get emotional, you may have saved their life. You have been that one person that acknowledged them, that gave them a reason to live or to go on. And so only you can go within yourself, and even the most minuscule things, to make an effect on someone's life. And I sure get impatient with a lot of people and myself. And I get angry, just like you, because I'm temple right now, meaning my feet are touching the earth. And I'm experiencing physicalities. And I believe that that's a way that Spirit and God keeps us grounded. Otherwise, we would leave. And to answer your question, how I live between 2 worlds, I am constantly aware that I have people around me. I am constantly feeling the other side. And my friends know that I get very frustrated that I'm still here, but I'm supposed to be here because this is exactly where I'm supposed to be right now. And so right now, I don't know about the meditation. I'm going to explain it, but I would like to answer some questions because I think that will lead into the meditation, which it was given to me by one of my mentors. It is, how you pronounce it, the Sith religion. It actually saved my daughter. She'd been hit by a car and almost killed. And I did an intensive care for healing. In addition, one thing my mentor Robbin said to me is, you never interfere with someone's karma, meaning you don't go in and heal them from you. You can receive a gift from the other side. And Carolyn Mace, I had taken my holistic nursing courses at a place called Omega Institute in Rhinebeck, New York. And the thing is, I studied Fintorn because I'm very connected to animals in the earth. But anyway, Carolyn Mace said, you cannot interfere. And even Robbin said that. Because it will affect your life, which interferes with what you're supposed to be doing. And remember, my life will never be your life or her life or your life. Everyone has their own path. So this meditation, it is called the Ardas. And it's a mantra, but this rendition was done by a harpist, and it's quite beautiful. And the words are Ardas Bahi, Amardas Guru, Amardas Guru, Ardas Bahi, Ramdas Guru, Ramdas Guru, Ramdas Guru, Sachi Sahi. The translation is the prayer, your prayer, has been given to Guru Amar Das, who was a very wise and spiritual man, I believe in the 1500s. The prayer is manifested by Guru Ram Das. The miracle is complete. And then it goes on, Guru Amar Das is the energy of grace and hope when there is no hope. Guru Ram Das is the energy of miracles healings, and blessings. This is the prayer to answer all prayers. So I'd like to answer questions, and then we'll do about 15 minutes. I have this here. I hope it will communicate. It's no longer in the internet. I was explaining to Mike over there that it had been on the internet, and this woman, I believe, became a born-again Christian and felt that it wasn't appropriate to participate in another religion's activities. But it is probably the most beautiful rendition I've ever heard. So if anybody would like to ask me anything.